Hello everyone and welcome back.
Hello.
So, you awake the next morning. What do you do?
Just consume a ration. Gone.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So yeah,
Rations.
a day of traveling.
I mean, do y'all want to hear what Lyra told me?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Please.
Already forgot.
Oh, while you're doing this, Grim, I've just remembered. I need you to deduct. I think it's 10 gold from your
Oh,
total
Zudar.
for Zudar's wages.
Okay. Done.
What is it with people and forgetting companions?
I mean, Zudar is like even more of an actual character than Lyra is, I feel. Like in terms of like he can talk normally to
Yes.
other people.
He also
Jeff
participates in a lot less in combat, though.
That's
Yeah.
true.
He talks back, you know.
He's around a
Yeah.
lot less.
Yeah, Arya, did you see Lady Hannah's face yesterday when there was like all hefty and stuff?
Oh, nice segue.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, Lyra and I had a
Yeah. Looked like so annoyed.
Yeah, Lyra apparently. So they're like sisters because obviously Melora is their mom. And so basically Lyra doesn't really agree with how Hannah interacts with the world at large. Like she thinks she's too involved in the affairs of other races, whereas Lyra obviously is like way more low key about what she does.
Well, she doesn't do anything. She's a
Well, she
wolf.
doesn't do any. Well, she does. She helps me, which helps the world. So
Yeah,
that
but
way, she's helping.
But ultimately, she's helping you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the person changing things. She's not doing anything.
yeah.
She's...
But so there's apparently quite a bit of tension between the two of them, because Lyra really does not agree with the way she behaves.
It's too bad.
Is
Yeah.
she somebody that we should be worried about, or just Lyra doesn't agree with her?
Lyra thinks that Melora would step in before she did anything too major, so probably we're fine.
No, fair enough.
Because I actually asked her, because I was like, well, I'm a little concerned that she's gonna have this like crazy bow and like go off and do something, but Lyra doesn't seem to think it would be that extreme. So it's probably fine. Probably.
All right.
Oh, good to know.
But yeah, sibling
Let's
rivalry.
get back on the road.
Okay.
Back on the horses.
Yay.
Away.
So you guys pack up your camp and set out. And we can go back to travel music for a bit.
Travel music.
Okay. So, as you travel for the rest of the day, you either pass by or pass through, entirely up to you, the village of Hatcher's Cross. So you can pop in and say hello if you wish.
I feel like we'll ignore it.
Well, yeah, it was more of a question to Vondal, because he actually has people that are
Um,
important to him there. Well, you do as well, Grim, but...
I know,
When was
but
the-
like it's like this
Yeah.
friends, you know.
When was the last time we went through again? Because we had been through
yeah, when
before
you...
the Shadow
a
Fall
short
Day.
time ago.
Yeah, when you came up
Yeah.
through, you came through past when you went to go and do your mission in the Shadowfell.
Yeah.
Actually, before
How
we
long
even-
ago was that?
Just after we left Rourke's Gate, surely. We were on our way to meet the Satis and stuff.
Right.
Oh yeah, so that like month and a half ago.
I guess you'd probably pass through.
Yeah, I mean, there doesn't have to be a scene if you don't,
No.
if you can't think of one.
I can't necessarily think of a scene, but I think it'd be in character for him to do his little
Yep.
check up, see she's okay, and move on.
Yeah, you pop through, everything seems to be fine.
'Cause,
Yeah, and you move on. The next couple of days, you travel relatively without incident. You pass a number of small hamlets that are usually no more than a few moments off the beaten path, and some of them are just directly on the main road, where you're sort of like plied by sort of street merchants who are just sort of like, hey, come and buy this, and there isn't anything of interest to you guys as adventurers. It's sort of like road rations and like weird little touristy bits, just people trying to make money. Mostly very little of interest though. And yeah, so you travel for basically another 5 days before you get to Ivywood Market. So go ahead and remove 5 days worth of rations for each of you from your stocks. And about probably still early morning of the 6th day. You approach. Where's my music tracks? There it is. Okay. You approach the fairly large market town of Ivywood Market.
Oh,
What a friendly
Well,
So
seems
town.
nice
very
looking.
I know, it looks nice and pleasant.
I'm sure there's nothing evil happening here.
Definitely
God.
not.
God damn it.
Fuck you.
Kelariis, you've been through here once before on your travels.
Mhm.
You didn't stop long. There wasn't very much of interest. There was a small library that you visited to try and find more information about the artifacts, but it's more like a public library than any sort of like reference library, so it wasn't that interesting to you. And you moved on fairly quickly. The thing that you remember from this town, though, however, is that it basically has a rough wooden palisade, similar to Silverbrook, but a lot less well maintained. And as you approach the main entrance, you can see that possibly within the last couple of weeks, a small section of the palisade has been damaged and seems to be in the process of being rebuilt. And unlike the last time you were here, there is a small contingent of guards standing outside the gate, who seem to be sort of addressing travellers as they come in and talking to them. They don't look sort of fantastically well armed or armored. They're very much sort of like the local militia sort of guards, where they've got small shields and spears and whatever armor they can cobble together with a rough tunic and tabard in the pale blue color that the rest of the town is sort of adorned with. And yeah, it has the town insignia, which is an oak tree covered in ivy. Just sort of like they're roughly hand stitched onto like every single tabard, but it looks like each one was done by a different person because they're not quite the same on anybody's tabards. So they're very very rough looking militia. But yeah, you stop about like maybe like a few minutes away from the town walls as you sort of see this, and it's up to you what you do with this information.
I mean, it seems like they're still accepting like travelers into the town.
Yeah, there's all number of merchants coming and going.
I say we just go for it.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
we
say unless
have to
somebody has
stop over.
objections.
Yeah, it seems pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Yeah,
Should
you
this one go bad?
I know, right?
you walk towards the gates, and one of the guards sort of like clocks you, and as he lets another bunch of people go, he holds up his hand and says, "Excuse me, folks. Name and business, please."
Why is the accent like this?
Yes. He's a country folk.
I guess.
It's a country accent. Anyway, like I guess we just do introductions and be like,
Just
open up and
passing
just,
through.
yeah, and also we're here to pick up provisions, and then we're moving on to another town.
He nods, regards all of you, and says, "Traveling mercenaries, are you?"
Something like that. Not
sure.
exactly.
Well, it's more of a more personal business.
He sort of says, "Oh, well,
But we are for hire every now and then.
Jesus, Grim!
Classic.
we?
Graham.
he
Now we are apparently.
Clearly now,
he sort
yeah.
of nods and says, I thought that might be the business. Well, if you want to operate within the city walls, we've pretty strict limits. You'll have to go and see the Burgermeister. We have been paying mercenaries recently to deal with a small gnoll problem. I don't know how well that's going, but you'll have to again ask Burgermeister.
Is that what happened? And I like gesture towards the fucked up bit of the palisade.
Yeah. He nods and says, "I came in the middle of the night, set it aflame.
Oh my.
Fortunately, no casualties. We've dealt with it pretty quickly, but mostly been causing problems stealing livestock."
Well, that's no good.
Aye. Well, if you want more details, you'll have to go see the Burgermeister. You can't have anyone operating in or around the area without a license. At this point, he turns to you, Kelariis, and sort of says, "Already had one of your lot arrested for operating without a license, and don't need any more trouble."
Wow.
Wait, what? Recently?
All right, just under a week ago.
What did they do? Well, I mean, besides operate without a license, apparently.
He sort of says, as it were, came to a dispute with the Burgermeister about some payment. Claimed to be part of a mercenary band who are helping us with the gnoll problem, but the mercenary band in question said they ain't seen hide nor hair of her, so turned into a little bit of a scuffle, and we had to throw her in the palisade. It's not in the stockade. It's not the palisade. Sorry.
I was gonna say, what?
Throw her in the stockade.
You are part of the wall now.
Oh, that seems a bit harsh for somebody just trying to help.
He just sort of shrugs and says, "It's the rules, I'm afraid. If you've got a complaint about it, go and see Burgermeister."
Yeah, okay, I
Go to see
Sure.
Burgermeister.
God! This is the most NPC we've ever had, like, meeting another character. This is like that fucking line!
Yeah, it's like it's like the text every time he says Bergmeister, it's like in yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get it, we're gonna go!
It comes up with some little coordinates in brackets next to it.
Price.
Quest log updated. See the Burgermeister.
God! Yeah, alright, thanks. We'll talk to that person. Where can we find the Burgermeister? I probably should have.
You start to walk past him, and then you're like, where can we see? And he points you just down Main Street, 2 roads, turn right.
Thanks.
Opens the the gate is already open, but he nods to his companions to just let you through.
Sweet.
Please don't tell
Cool.
me you're thinking what I think you're thinking.
You all arrive at Ivywood Market.
Cap, speak up, child.
Speak up.
Please don't tell me you're thinking what I think you're thinking.
I don't know what you're trying to imply. I'm gonna have a civil conversation with this
Leave the legal
Burgermeister.
process alone.
No, I'm gonna have a fucking conversation, and if I don't like the results, then I'll take care of it another way.
They started an altercation. They are clearly in the wrong.
They didn't start an altercation, they just had a disagreement. There's a difference.
We
How do
only
you
heard
know?
one
They might have started
perspective.
an argument on the disagreement.
We only
We're going
heard one
to s-
perspective, guys.
Yes, and we're also going to speak. I asked where this person is because I want to go and speak with them.
I look at it this way, Vondal. Like, if something has been done wrong, like, at least you get to confirm and that the rules have been followed, you know?
And honestly, it doesn't sound like they've done anything wrong. They just wanted to help. So I see no reason they should be locked up for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Kelariis.
I'm all for just checking it out, and we'll see.
I guess let's. Also, do we want to help with the gnolls, or is this just kind of a thing we want to let them deal with?
I mean, that's kind of below our pay grade, don't you think?
Yeah,
think
but I
it's-
also don't really feel comfortable.
It's not exactly something that we'd struggle with. It'd be we go in, we kill some things that'll take us about 5 seconds, and we move on with our lives.
We say this, but we know that something's gonna go horribly wrong in the
Oh, yeah.
process.
Well,
I mean,
it just depends on whether, you know...
Historically,
Yeah.
our worst fights have been against shit that we should just deal with really easily.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think
I'm just
Knowles
saying-
can even hit us without crits.
If this town has got it under control, and if there's other people already helping, then we don't need to help. But, you know, if we don't have anyone else, we may as well.
Well, I guess we're going to go and talk to the Burgermeister.
Talk to
Sort
the
that out.
It's plan anyway!
Talk
I
to the
know.
Burgermeister.
Christ.
It's the new joke.
Cool. Are you all gonna go and talk to the Burgermeister, or are you gonna sort of like look around town?
I'm not letting Kelariis talk to the Burgermeister on her own.
Okay.
Wow.
What about everybody else?
I'm gonna find an inn.
You're gonna find an inn. Okay.
I can be civil.
Like, I have to
don't
join the
think we can be civil.
Burgermeister to inquire for business opportunities.
Okay.
Yeah, look, Kelariis, I don't doubt you can be civil initially.
What are you up to, Arya?
I don't know. I guess I'll go along and just...
Okay.
hear
You
what's up.
you notice as you
He's-
walk
he's
through
up
the
and around.
streets, much like when you've been in other human cities, everybody is just giving you and Lyra like a wide berth and sort of looking at you like rather strangely.
Look, it's perfectly normal for a woman and her wolf to go have a stroll.
In the Elven Forest, maybe.
Well,
Nah, it's totally fine here too. Don't worry about it.
nah, it's fine.
Clearly not.
It's like you notice that like there are people in this town who have dogs, and usually the dogs are sort of like on some sort of leash. But you also make the note that Lyra is also basically like usually 1.5 times the size of them.
Well, look, man.
Because Lyra's pretty big.
Well, I mean, Lyra's a full-grown wolf, so yeah, it's pretty big. I don't think I could ever put a leash on Lyra. I think that would A, be a violation of our friendship, and B, just like she would not deal with it well.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm off on my own, I guess, just finding
Yep.
an inn.
Okay, yeah, you go and find an inn.
I mean, I guess I can go with you, B, if you don't want to be alone.
I don't really mind. I can find it in my own.
Well, you You might find some interesting stuff in the market as well. Since it seems like it's kind of a
It is a market town.
Maybe I'll go
Oh
with
my
V just
God.
to make sure she doesn't spend all of her
Souvenirs!
money on souvenirs.
Gonna find some interesting stuff.
Fuck you!
God.
I knew someone was gonna make that joke.
Okay. So what scene do we want to do first? Do we want to do town market or do we want to do Burgermeister?
You choose.
I guess we'll do Burgermeister then.
Yeah, Burgermeister
Right.
probably the more influential.
Here we go.
Okay,
That's
so
what I think.
you follow the guard's directions, 2 streets down and then to the right, and it's immediately obvious which building it is that he's referring to. As basically there's a fairly large building with like a slate tiled roof on it. And from looking at it outside, it is one of the tallest buildings in the local vicinity, and it's got like 3 or 4 floors to it, and it seems to be some sort of like administration or bureaucratic center. But it also has a fairly large wooden building next to it that you presume is the stockade. And yeah, basically you walk up to the building, and basically the double doors of the building are sort of held open by 2 very sort of like heavy doorstops, and the double doors lead into a veritable hub of activity. And from what you can tell from sort of like the signs that have been like sort of hung from the ceiling, this seems to be like a place that seems to be run by the local administration and law, and seems to be a place to get licenses for pretty much any profession you can think of. It seems like Ivywood Market is a place where there is a lot of traveling merchants and traveling professionals. So a lot of the money that Ivywood Market makes is for trading licenses for people to come and set up shop in town. And you notice in the far back corner, there is a sign on the wall of next to a staircase with an arrow pointing upwards that says Burgermeister's office and mercenary applications.
Well, I guess that's where we're going.
Yeah, you head upstairs, and it's slightly quieter up here. And basically at a desk with there's a glass pane door just behind this desk that printed on it says Burgermeister's office. And sitting behind the desk is a halfling who is wearing sort of like a very smart red leather waistcoat, who is sort of going through a number of documents with a human man who is sort of like standing on the other side of the desk waiting for him to finish whatever it is that he's doing.
Well, Lars, I believe you want to have a word.
Well, we don't want to interrupt. shall we?
Is the man?
Yeah, I know. It's like we should probably wait to. Not gonna just barge in if it looks like they're doing something.
Yeah, okay, so you wait around for a little while, and after about maybe a minute of just paper shuffling, the halfling sort of looks up and says, "Well, I'm sorry, but there's no record of it here." And the man says, "There must be. We filled it out not 2 weeks ago." And halfling says, "Sorry, if it's not here, it doesn't exist." At which point the man's just sort of like, "I'll be back." "I'm sure you will." and the desk seems to be free.
I guess we'll walk on up.
Without even sort of looking up, he says, "Application or inquiry?"
I guess both.
Looks up at you.
Well, potentially application, but inquiry first. I guess about the issue with the gnolls and the person that was put under arrest for air quotes interfering.
He scrutinizes you and sort of says, "You mean the Dragonborn?"
Apparently, yes. But from my understanding, they were just trying to help.
He pushes himself away from the desk, hops down from the stool, and is the same height as he was when he was on the stool.
Christ.
And he says, "Just a moment, please. I'll see if the Burgermeister's free."
Can we
And
talk
go.
about how ridiculous that name is? Every time you say it, I can't take you
The
seriously.
Burgermeister.
Burgermeister.
It sounds like something that the Burger King would use.
Do you know what a Burgermeister is?
No.
It's a mayor.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, is
it's
it?
literally the same in Dutch. Burgemeester.
Wow, that's weird.
Master of the Burg.
Yep.
No, burger means citizen.
Okay, I'm proven wrong.
Wow.
Well, it can also be like you can also have burgers as in like the meat slabs.
That's
but,
true.
You know.
Yeah,
God.
that's what I
It's
was.
just short for hamburger.
The
Yeah,
master of
see,
the
and
burger.
that's where I was
That's
getting
not
like.
ham
oh,
citizen.
I am the master of the burger.
Anyway,
Watch
I
me
mean,
flip
that's
it
what
into a bun with no effort.
God.
I don't even have to look at it.
anyway. The halfling disappears into the glass-fronted door. You hear like a faint, muffled conversation for a few moments, and then the halfling comes out again and says, "Give him 2 minutes, he'll be ready to see you."
Sure.
Oh, that's quick.
2 minutes.
Anything else that I can help you with?
I'm sorry, did he develop a lisp in the past, like, 10
Yeah, he
seconds?
did.
No,
He
I
definitely did.
I tripped over my own words.
That's fair.
That was a me flub, not a character flub.
Develop a
Adam.
list in the last 2 minutes.
Christ.
Well, it's like that
Um.
one guy developing a New York accent in like.
Look, okay,
Don't forget that guy. Don't forget that soldier who ditched his Cockney accent.
I am not a professional actor.
Aw.
Are we being mean?
You guys don't even do accents.
Yep.
Well, I
Anyway.
guess since we have to wait, what's up with the Knoll situation?
Okay, yeah. Basically, the secretary tells you this, a similar thing to what the guard at the gate told you. And basically, in addendum, they sort of they rattle off like a number of things, and they're basically they've got like five mercenary companies currently on payroll as guards and like pest control and various other things. From the sounds of it, it sounds like they've got it handled.
Well. Good.
Well.
Do you leave a card, Grim?
Oh my god.
Well, actually, I was what I was gonna do was ask him what kind of licenses do you actually need to be allowed to do anything? Because I do have my what is it called again? Papers. The papers.
Yes.
From-
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So you produce those, and the halfling looks them over and says, "Yes, these seems to be in order."
Any? Yeah.
Simply put, if you want a basic license, that's 3 gold. If you want a full operating license, which allows the ownership of premises, that's 20 gold.
Hmm.
mean, it's not
I
like
don't
we're.
think I don't think we're gonna stick around long enough to earn it back.
No.
So that was just curiosity, but
At this point, the glass-fronted door opens, and a very dour-looking human sort of pokes his head around the door and says, "Excuse me, are you the people to see me?
Yes.
Please, come on in."
Walk into that office.
Okay.
The fancy glass door.
Yep. You walk into the office, and the place is actually very cramped. It looks like it contains a lot of furniture that seems like it was designed for a much larger room. It seems like he has given up quite possibly what would have been his office and taken up residence in a slightly smaller room, which seems to have messed with the composition of the room a little bit, to the point where you sort of have to cram yourselves in a little bit to all fit into the office.
Lovely.
And he says, "Yes, I understand this is about the prisoner we have in the stockade."
Yes. Well, my understanding is that they were just trying to help out, and somehow this broke one of the laws of this town, or one of the laws of this town.
He consults the thing that he has in front of him, and he says, "Yes, well, the exact charges are for operating without a license and causing a disturbance in a public place. The exact circumstances I can tell you a little bit more about, as it took place in," and he points towards the door, "in the room just out there. The individual in question was arrested as they were attempting to claim a part of the reward that was given to a member of the employed mercenary company Merlin's band. They claimed association with the band, and as a result, an equal share of the reward. However, on the payroll for the mercenary company in question, that individual is not on that list. It then devolved into quite the shouting match, I'm afraid, and I had to have the guards restrain the particular individual and escort her to the stockade." Does that answer your question?
Yes. But did she excuse me. Did she actually help in the way that she claimed to?
I'm afraid I can't verify that. You'd have to ask a member of Merlin's band.
Have you talked to her about it?
Not since the incident, I'm afraid. She refuses to calm down about it.
I mean, honestly, I'm not from here, but throwing people into stockades for helping with a problem that's at hand seems a bit much. Especially since licenses aren't always required in every place.
How about
Kelariis a look?
I'm just saying.
look, Kelariis?
You don't know any. You're making a lot of assumptions.
No.
Correct assumptions.
How about since you obviously can't calm her down, Burgermeister, perhaps having a fellow Dragonborn talk to her might help enlighten the situation, or help calm her down.
Okay. Give me a persuasion
I'm just-
check.
Oh no.
I'm caught between giving Grim this look of do you think just because we're Dragonborn we all get along, but at the same time he's not wrong?
Yeah.
Grim, holy shit.
Not very persuasive.
Am I ever?
He
Not particularly.
Sometimes.
he looks at you and says, "I'm afraid that would be well, highly irregular. But, I suppose if you think it would help, I could give you perhaps 5 minutes with her.
Look, at the very least, even if she doesn't get whatever reward she was trying to claim, maybe she can be let go.
Well,
Maybe she didn't know about the. She might have not known about the. Well, no, I guess she knew about the licensing agreement if she tried to claim to be part of a band, right?
Well,
That's kind of implied.
that's what we're gonna figure out, Kelariis.
How long would the sentence be?
He consults and sort of says, well, as far as I'm aware, the sentence itself is no more than a month in the stocks, but it's more the matter of the unresolved incident that we are concerned about, particularly as we cannot get any more information about what it is that she supposedly has done. If it was proven that she was impersonating a member of the band, that could perhaps be a more serious offence. But again, as we cannot even get a reasonable word out of her, I'm afraid she's serving until we can.
Yeah. Well, let's go talk to her.
Okay. Cool.
It's like we can. He obviously can't help us.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to do that, the Burgermeister will make the necessary arrangements.
Sure.
Okay. And while you guys are doing that, Iron V, what are you doing?
I mean, looking for the nearest inn, assuming.
Okay. There are
He's probably starting to get distracted by shops and stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Arya
So
is trying to pull her along so she doesn't buy everything.
yeah, you walk through sort of like the main streets and the town square, and much like on the image, there's a number of sort of like colourful stalls set up that seem to come from all over the like sort of the human empire, and the street is just like it's filled with all sorts of like peculiar smells, from like spices and herbs to incense to like raw fish. It's crazy that just the amount of variety of things that are being sold in this marketplace. And as you are walking, Arya, you spot out that there are two inns. One seems to be your sort of regular sort of like run-of-the-mill sort of like dive bar inn that is full of like the more low-budget travellers. And there's another one which is significantly sort of more. It's more of a hotel than a bar with rooms. And yeah, so the more expensive looking one is known as the Silvered Goblet, and the slightly I hesitate to say scummier looking one, but the lower end tavern is known as the Watering Hole.
Well, which one are you feeling, B?
I don't really mind.
How scummy are we talking? Like,
basically, like it's not like a regular dump, but it is very much sort of a. If you go there, it will be the sort of living conditions that you are used to from like back when you were poor adventurers and you couldn't afford very much, where it's the 6 of you packed into a room with a bunch of bunks. If you go to the Silvered Goblet, it's more likely that you will have individual rooms with a wash basin.
It's closer to our Silverbrook accommodations.
Yeah, when you bought them the more expensive Silverbrook accommodations, it will be like that.
Well, I guess we can go see how much those rooms are, and if they're astronomically high, we can just be like, nope.
Okay.
Yeah, you pop into the Silver Goblet and inquire about rooms. They're about what you're used to paying for rooms.
Okay, well. I mean, then we can just stay here, I guess.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
start it with like for one night because we don't know how long we're staying here.
Yeah.
yeah they will house and give you warm evening meal for basically a gold per person. So.
Oh wow, that's like, yeah. Great.
Alright. Rooms acquired.
Okay. Yeah. You book in for 5 people. Oh, sorry, 6 people.
Sudar.
Yep.
Dinar.
Even the GM figured out.
He just sleeps on.
Look,
Grim's floor.
it's because there's 5 of it's because there's 5 of you in the thing. So I'm like, oh yeah, 5, and then I'm like, wait, NPCs.
Did we ask about what to do with Lyra? Do they allow wolves in here?
Will they
She's
allow
domesticated.
pets? Do you allow pets?
Wow.
Yeah, do you allow pets?
Give me a persuasion check.
Come on, V. You have higher persuasion than I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Insert.
Not
puppy
great.
dog here.
It's not great.
If she's trained, they'll make an exception.
She's trained.
Insert puppy dog eyes
She
here.
won't. She won't piss on the carpets or anything.
Jeez, plus 11 persuasion.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's obscene.
That's like
Yeah.
an awful roll for V.
I know.
Yeah.
That is obscene.
Now,
I'm
I roll-
very persuasive.
Minimum roll for V on persuasion is now a 12. So.
That's crazy.
Insane.
I'm very cute, guys.
So
Those puppy-
cute.
You can't say no to those puppy dog eyes. You just can't.
V turns on her persuasion to full blast. It's just like white light shooting out of her.
Yeah.
It's like, "Rrrr."
Suddenly, she like her art style changes and she becomes chibi.
Oh my god.
That would be kind of terrifying.
Yeah, I would yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
yeah, Lyra can stay with us.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Cool. So yeah, you book those rooms out for the evening.
Can I do some shopping?
You can do some shopping.
Yay!
It
I just
is
want to buy some useless stuff.
yeah, you can very easily spend like 1 or 2 silver just buying useless crap.
Yes.
Real knickknacks. Get another carved bit of wood for your collection.
Oh yeah.
It's at home now.
Ah.
Yeah, all of her knickknacks and crap are at home.
That means you can just hoard even more knickknacks.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
exactly. I'll just put it in the bag of holding.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say we have the bag of holding
Fill the
now.
bag of holding with knickknacks.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Uh,
So
so
you guys can also buy provisions while you're here, and if there's anything in particular that you can think of that you might be interested in procuring, there might be some stalls that you can buy stuff from.
what is this place called?
What do you mean?
What is this place called? This town?
The town, Ivywood Market.
Okay. I'm just tossing all of the shit into the
Okay.
bag of holding.
Yeah.
Is
So
there anything you want to buy? Do I see any babies?
What?
give me a perception check.
What?
Actually, no. Wait, no. Your passive perception is high enough. Yes, you do.
Okay. Run up to the baby.
Okay.
Oh
Or
my
to the
god.
person with the baby.
Okay. They look at you very strangely.
I'm just like, what?
Can I ask what your child's name is?
Yeah, they're not sure whether to like respond to you for a second, but then they seem to be like, well, what's the harm in it? And yeah, they hand you a baby whose name is Ethan. Well, they show you a baby
Oh,
whose
they
name is
hand
Ethan.
them?
They don't give you the baby.
God.
They extend their arms so you can see, and it is called
Okay.
Ethan.
Okay.
I was like, wow, that's really trusting of them.
Where's the harmony? Runs off with baby.
Oh
Shit.
no!
I mean, V's
Yeah.
pretty friendly looking. I don't
Yeah.
think anyone would
That's
accuse her
true.
of
Yeah,
being
you-
a fucking baby.
You look like a young girl with flowers in your hair.
Natural persuasion.
Meanwhile, Arya's
Passive
just like
persuasion.
hovering behind her
Yeah.
like this cranky ant.
Yeah, passive persuasion.
Okay, V's gonna just like, just be like, little Ethan, welcome to the world of the living, and enjoy your stay.
Oh my god!
Which, by the way, is totally just a rephrased version of what was said to you when you left the Silvered Goblet.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I don't
Why
really
is
know
this
what to do
happening?
here.
The guardian
Yeah,
of life.
Bless the child.
Yeah, I'm blessing babies.
What?
gonna-
She's turned into the queen.
Tuck a flower into his hair. Or his, like, behind his
Yeah.
ear.
Yeah, I'm gonna druidcraft a little flower and just give it to the baby.
Okay.
Aw.
The mother seems like really perplexed when you just magic a flower out of nowhere, and you like place it on the baby, and she's like, "Well, thank you."
It's okay.
God.
Your baby's gonna have a great life. And just V's just gonna like awkwardly walk away.
Okay.
V.
The woman isn't quite sure what to make of this.
This is just what Arya's gonna have to live with now.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Arya, you
Nice
witness this
10 minutes.
display.
And I'm just like, whatever. It's classic V.
Good to have her back.
I have missed your bizarre antics.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans, some would say.
This
Indeed.
is totally the situation for the use of the word shenanigans.
Okay.
V does sort of go like, I feel like I could have done that better.
Maybe you should practice a speech for when you bless babies. So in the
Yeah.
future, it's like a thing.
I should ask Vondal. He knows about blessing people, right?
Yes?
Blessing babies is hard.
I mean, you could always take pointers from the classic fairy tale Sleeping Beauty. Oh wait, is it Sleeping Beauty or is it which has the fairy godmothers in it?
That's
I think
Sleeping
it's Sleeping
Beauty,
Beauty, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's
There's
Sleeping
a
Beauty.
couple. Cinderella is another one.
Well, but Cinderella, like, she doesn't meet her fairy godmother until she's like.
Yeah,
old.
you're talking about the three of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
definitely
that's
something.
Sleeping Beauty.
Okay, I thought so. I just wasn't sure. For a second, I was like, "Fuck, do I not remember?" But great.
It's been a while.
It's been a while since I watched Sleeping
Jeez.
Beauty.
Anyway,
Moving
so as you look around the market, there are stalls to buy pretty much anything you want. So you can get provisions here if you want to get provisions here. The thing that you notice that catches your eye as being something that you don't come across very often is there is a probably sort of like a not super dark but dark-ish skin-toned elf who is sitting cross-legged basically on a carpet underneath one of these covered stalls, and he has got boxes boxes upon boxes with glass lids that seem to be full of all sorts of different kinds of gemstone.
Pretty.
Does he have wares if we have coin?
He's not a cat.
Yeah,
No,
it's
but he's sat cross-legged on a floor in like an open tenty kind of thing. It's the closest
which
we can
Arya
get.
does all of the time.
I do that literally every day. I don't sell wares though. I just meditate. But
Exactly.
whatever.
This guy
Yes.
does sell wares.
This guy seems to have a number of jewels for sale and may have things that interest you if you want to talk to him.
Yes, I do want to talk to him. I want pretty
Okay.
things.
He greets you politely and asks if there is anything that you are looking for in particular.
Well, what do you sell in general?
yeah, he goes through his vast array of gemstones, and yeah, pretty much any kind of gemstone you can think of, he has like a handful of them. And some of them actually, he has some things that he shows you that you're actually really surprised by like how big they are. Like for example, he has a clear diamond that is like probably like half the size of a fist. Like it's a big diamond. Yeah, he has like yeah. Some if you need gemstones for spell components, he can sell you those. But yeah, he also has a number of things like emeralds, and he even just like colored stones, and he pulls out like a small bag of like that is it's a number of like really like gravel sized tiny shiny stones in like 100 different colors.
Oh, that's pretty.
But how much is it going to cost?
He will sell you a bag of shiny stones for 1 gold.
Oh my god.
Fuck yes.
Okay.
Yes, please. I will
He-
take that.
You now own a bag of shiny gravel.
Arya's just in the background face palming quietly.
If you want to stop me,
No, I mean, I'm not going to stop you unless we get to like excessive amounts of money. 1 gold is not going to break the bank.
Yeah, you pass the alpha gold coin, and he hands you a bag of shiny stones.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, we should ask Vondal maybe if he needs like gems or something for spells, because I know that happens sometimes.
What an excellent idea that'd be.
Yes. Meanwhile, so I guess you guys go back to find the Burgermeister's building, as these guys are sort of going out and going to the stockade. Okay, found the page of my notes. Okay, so as you get down to the stockade, there is basically the person that the mayor assigned to you guys to show you where the prisoner is being kept. He basically like walks in through this door into the wooden building, and it enters into a small room where there's like a couple of guards and a man sat behind a desk. And he has a few words with the man. The man produces a ring of keys and pushes open the second door and leads you into a number of small wooden cells. The majority of the occupants of the wooden cells are basically the majority of the contents is a bunch of passed out middle-aged humans. Who basically just seem to be sleeping off last night's revelries in the cells. And in the back corner, in the furthest cell away from the door, it's a smaller sectioned off cell, clearly for like one individual. Basically sitting in the corner with their arms wrapped around their knees, looking like they're sulking, is a younger-looking gold dragonborn.
Fucking god.
Who looks very familiar to you, Kelariis.
I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. Oh my god.
Backstory
I
time.
knew this was gonna happen.
I
If we
knew
walked in
it.
here, I'm like, hang on a minute, Kelariis is gonna know this person, isn't she?
I know, I was like, I knew it from the beginning. I was just like, I'm not ready, but I'm ready for this.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, I need to take a quick deep breath out of character.
Do that.
Okay, here we go. I wasn't ready for this, but I'm ready for this here. Sick and all. I'm going to walk up to... Yeah, I'm going to walk up to the cell. and just very quietly say her name and just be like, Thalithsyr?
The Dragonborn looks up, and it is indeed the person that you think it is.
Holy shit.
Dun dun dun.
And she takes a moment to process like that it is actually you, and begins a conversation in Draconic.
Okay. Standard.
Yeah, mainly because like that's the language you would have like talked in normally.
Right.
And yeah, she sort of just says, Kelariis, what are you doing here?
I could ask the same of you.
Classic introduction.
Well, I'm here looking for you.
What do you mean you're looking for me? I'm headed... Wait, what do you mean you're looking for me? What?
At this point, like the jailer is sort of like undoing the gate and like opening the gate and like letting you sort of like step inside.
Oh, I'm being allowed to step in.
Yeah, like he's gonna like let you step in and he's gonna like close the door behind you.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'm gonna give her a hug then.
Okay.
Aww.
Yeah.
So you as you guys watch, like Kelariis like starts having a conversation with this person in Draconic, and then steps inside and like hugs this person.
Vondal doesn't know whether to be confused or exasperated.
I mean, I heard her say the 0, right?
You're not here.
So- I'm not here. I thought you said we met up with the guys.
No, you haven't arrived
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, you're just.
You're on your
just
way
started
here.
Heading,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
just started heading off as we walked
Okay.
in.
Got it.
So yeah, so you hug each other, she steps away from you and continues in Draconic, and just says, well, I decided, I made up my mind. I made up my mind that I was going to come after you, and I was going to find you, and I was going to help you.
I mean, I'm incredibly touched by that, but you didn't know where I went. And please tell me you at least told your mom you were leaving.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Don't do what I did that one time. That was bad.
Yeah. She sort of like, like her face sort of like tightens up for a moment, and she sort of says she didn't really want me to go at first, but then I reasoned with her, and she saw that this was something that I had to go and do, and in the end she was okay with it.
Okay, well, I'm glad, and as much as I wish that this was slightly better in terms of circumstances, I'm really glad to see you again.
Yeah, she's like, me too. I'm sorry that I'm here in this situation. It's kind of an awkward story.
Do you want to tell it, maybe for everyone to hear?
She turns to the people and stuff like, these are your friends?
Those two are, and I gesture to Vondal and Grim.
Yeah.
The guard is no one.
I don't know who the fuck this guard
Yeah.
is. He's just here.
He's not included in the circle of trust.
No, he's not a party member. I guess we're being gestured to. Vondal will nod.
I think Tallithsyr like turns to you and just goes, are they dwarves?
One of them is.
Oh my
One
god.
of them is.
I kind
One of them
raise
is,
an
the other
eyebrow,
one.
you know.
I was
I mean,
gonna say, does she
was
actually
that,
say
was
that
that
in
in the
common?
chronic or?
That's in Draconic, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Kelariis chuckles and says one of them is. That's Vondal, and
Yeah.
points to Vondal. He's a dwarf. The other one's Grim, and he's a gnome.
She sort of like is like, oh, I see. I've only really met humans since I've come out here.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of others that are my friends here, and they're somewhere in town, but they're also very interesting. I think you'll enjoy meeting them.
So yeah, essentially, Sarah turns to the rest of you and sort of says, "Hi. So Shivi and I are friends."
Oh my god.
Sorry, who?
Yeah, Vondal's just gonna cock his head to one side and go, like not actually saying anything. He's just gonna
Yeah.
and cock his head to the side.
I'll just go along. Yes, we've known Shivi for quite some time.
Jesus Christ. I can't.
Kelariis is like, "No, don't call me that. That's weird."
No.
Vondal's not saying it. He's just looking confused.
Yeah, and Tallithsyr sort of says, basically, when I got into town, there was this big fury about some gnolls that had attacked the town and like set fire to some things, and I kind of wanted to help, so I asked around, and there was this bunch of guys, and the leader was he's called Merlin, and they're Merlin's band, and he said that if I wanted to help, I could go with them and help them fight the gnolls. And I went with them, and it was honestly kind of dangerous. Like we got into some really big fights, but I helped them and we won in the end. But when I got back, I found out that there was a reward, and they hadn't told me anything about a reward. And I thought, if I can get the money, then I could like send it home or use it to buy some more stuff. And like she turns to you, Kelariis, and it was like they were offering 20 gold. Like that's more money than I've ever had.
God.
This is so sad.
Oh, sweetheart, no. Boy.
But she basically says, but when I went to the Biggermeister's office, they said that I wasn't on any of the papers, even though they said to me that I was part of the band. And I guess I kind of lost my temper a little bit, and I started shouting, and the next thing I know, I was thrown in here, and they said that I was being arrested for operating without a license, and ever since I've just sort of, every time they've come to me, they've treated me like I'm some sort of criminal, even though I helped.
I know. It's... I probably, like, very quietly and draconic just say, sometimes they don't appreciate us doing things, even though it's the right thing.
Yeah.
But, and this is back in common, sometimes you have to do things and not expect a reward, unfortunately. But as for the money, if you really want to send something back home or get yourself supplies, well, I'm here now and I can help with that. And we'll sort out this business with getting you out of here, preferably now. And I look at the guy who brought us in.
I will point out, by the way, it does sound like she was cheated.
Yeah, no, I also hear
Yeah.
this, don't worry. But I want her out of here
Yeah.
first before I go find this dude and have a talk with him.
Oh, of course you have.
The guard is sort of like, he's like, well, unless she's got something to say to the Burgermeister, then she's kind of got to stay.
What do you mean?
Well, she'd have
Well.
to testify, surely.
Well, bring him in here then. Or whatever the procedure is.
Well, usually we go up to chambers, but I can
Oh,
get him
well,
to come
that's-
down here.
I mean, either way works. I don't know what the procedure is here.
Sort of thinks to himself and he says, well, chambers is probably better.
Alright.
Yeah, so you walk out of the stockade with sort of Tallithsyr in tow. She the guard sort of like takes like the thin manacles that she's got on like sort of like around her wrists, And you walk out, and as you walk out, you see the rest of your companions like walking towards you.
Hi.
Yep, give him a wave.
Do I notice that Kelariis looks perturbed?
I don't know. Do you?
Can I insight check her?
No, I'm asking Kelariis. Does Kelariis
Yeah.
look perturbed?
I think she looked a little, but she's also right now just very focused on dealing with this situation.
She looks
more
very
so
serious.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Very serious. So serious.
than- so serious.
Vondal's a bit
Too
confused.
serious.
You probably noticed and she's like, what's going on? How did the burger meister thingy go?
Wow.
It's still in progress.
We found
Yeah.
our Dragonborn.
Oh, hi, I'm Fee.
She would wave at you, but hands.
Oh, okay.
These are my other friends I was telling you about. Arya and V, and I point out. Oh, it's Lyra, and then Lyra is also there. so-
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
Zudar.
Lyra. Oh, and Sudar. I'm sorry, Sudar. Shit.
This is the session of forgetting Zudar.
Rip.
Sorry, Sudar.
Fucking Zudar.
Like he's just in the background taking notes of stuff anyway.
Yeah, he's not really.
Yeah, he probably went to look around the town with Arya and V.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he sort of appears.
Appears.
He's just
He
there.
just comes out of the shadows.
All of a sudden, the Zudar appears.
Hello.
You'll not see me again for a while. And just vanishes into the crowd. Assassin style. Pulls up a hood and he's gone.
Should have been a rope.
Should have been around.
Well, the problem is he's super quiet, but he also blends into just the rest of the people because he doesn't wear like armor or anything fancy. He's just there in like regular clothes.
To be fair, he
He's an
probably is a
orc,
lot
though.
taller and a
Yeah.
lot bigger than everybody
Yeah.
else here.
But he doesn't have
Awful.
armor still.
He's not super tall. Let me find out.
No, but he's
Anyway.
not super tall. But
Anyway.
like he does kind of stand out due to his
He is
orc-like
a
nature.
bit green.
Bit green.
Oh,
Slightly,
Oh,
he secretly he wants to be able to join all our fights. He's a bit jealous.
Yeah, he's only 5'4", so he's not
Wow.
very tall
Is
at
he
all.
5'4"?
Yeah.
oh my god,
Wow.
Arya's taller than he is.
He's
Yes.
wow, he's
Shit.
diddy. He's the diddiest half orc ever.
jeez.
He is quite short for a half orc, yes.
This puts a whole new perspective on Zudar.
Mm.
I was expecting
He
someone
still
who
looks
was like-
down on you.
I know, but I was expecting someone who was like literally twice the height of Grim.
No.
No, look, that's why we get along so well.
You're on the same level.
Yep.
Wow.
We're still still not really on the same level. He's still got 2
Anyway.
feet on you. Or 2 feet. Yeah. Anyway.
So what's up? Where are we going?
We're going to have a chat with the Burgermeister about the situation.
What's the situation again?
He's like, what is the situation? I have no idea what is going on here.
Insert us explaining about the situation because we don't want to repeat ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, you are briefed.
Oh, well,
The
yeah,
question
that's-
is, does the name come up?
Yeah, does the name come up?
Yeah, because I think Kelariis would have very quickly just said the Tallithsyr situation, and then Vondal would have gone on to actually explain what was going on.
He probably goes like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Just turn to the Syrah. I know who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
She just looks at you like, okay.
I was like, what?
No, and I just like slapped Kelariis on the arm like multiple times. Remember in Argentellarind tree? I heard her name. So you're like,
Yeah,
"Tell me."
she heard you. She heard you thinking about her.
Right? Did V tell me about that back then? I don't actually remember if she told me about
I
that.
don't think I did.
Okay, and I'm just like, you did what? Sorry.
You know, it was the Bridge of Gaia thing.
I didn't tell me about that.
The Syrah looks very confused.
I'm just
Well,
gonna. Can I just look at the Sir's confused expression and go, "Don't worry, I don't get it either."
Well, it was, yeah, you know, it was. I don't know. I didn't really want to like tell you at the time that I was like reading your thoughts somehow, but because that kind of sounds weird.
I
But
mean,
anyway,
okay. Yes, it's. Yeah, okay.
The,
sorry.
the guard and Tallithsyr are both sort of like standing there waiting for this conversation to finish, like, what's going on here?
Anyway, we should proceed.
So yeah,
Yeah, let's go talk
go.
to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we should help the Sarah because she's very important to you.
Yes.
If the Tallithsyr could blush, she would.
Oh.
So yeah, you are led into a sectioned off chamber that looks like many a courtroom that you've been in, Vondal.
Lovely.
And yeah, beyond that is another you're led through another door into what you would recognise to be judges' chambers, which you, Vondal, have actually had resident office in a couple of times.
Huzzah.
But yes, after a few minutes, the Burgermeister comes down, this time in robes rather than common clothes, and says, we meet again. So I understand some resolution has been reached?
Well, more information has come to light than it seemed that you had, and I am willing to vouch for her, and for her to be released now.
One step at a time.
No, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
this is what Kelariis came here for. She's not gonna,
Yeah.
she's not
Yeah.
gonna do some shit.
Yeah,
Ready to
I know,
petition
but
for
like,
release
just
rather
trying to
than-
like lower your expectations.
Yeah, well, not even try to lower your expectations. Try and make it sound less firm. Rather than saying she's going to be released now, be like, petition for release. I don't know.
No, I said I'm willing to vouch for that.
Yeah,
Like,
then
I'm
you were
willing
I
to
want
vouch
to be
for
released
her.
about her being
Yeah,
released now.
he knows what you mean.
Anyway,
And so he's like, right, very well then, please explain.
I probably like look at the Sierra like, go on, tell me what you told, you know.
You say, tell you what it told me, she
Yeah.
relates what she told you, the rest of you now hear it from Thera's perspective. And the Burgermeister says, yes, well, that still does leave a problem of the fact that you aren't on any of Mirreland's band's records of members. So, I'm afraid unless you are incorporated as part of a mercenary company, you do still stand to the charges do still stand. So, unless you can convince the band to sign for your inclusion as a member, or if somebody else is willing to take you, then I'm sorry, there's not a lot I can do.
hang on.
Well, actually,
I was gonna say.
well, we can very easily take her, I guess. I guess we just need to pay the free gold for the
License.
license.
Verify her as your mercenary company.
No. Although
That
we should.
work?
Yeah, he looks at you and sort of says, if you don't have an existing license, you can sign a new one, but there would be a surcharge for incorrect procedure. It would set you back another 5 gold, I'm afraid.
Five
Only-
gold
oh,
and stuff,
can be
That's-
paid.
That shouldn't be too big of a problem. We can. That's something we can oversee.
Tallithsyr is sort of like kind of worried about the amount of gold that you seem to be like offering to pay for her release, and she's just sort of like, "Is this okay?"
Oh, honey.
Yeah, it's like, oh, so
If only you knew how much gold we were carrying with us right now.
it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Well, I assume we're gonna have to fill out those forms before she can get released.
Yeah, he turns to the jailer and sort of says, "Would you fetch my secretary and have him bring the appropriate papers? We can do it here if that's more convenient."
Sure.
That'd be nice.
It certainly makes things easier.
Okay. A few minutes pass. Papers are brought. There is a lot of legal paperwork to sign. Nothing that is beyond Grim and Vondal's abilities, but is far beyond the rest of you.
It's so boring. This is even worse than meditating.
I would have thought you would have enjoyed meditating.
No,
Me
it's
enjoying
sitting
meditating?
still.
A chance,
Sitting
Yeah,
still,
it's
not
actually
talking.
a chance to sit and enjoy nature, is it not?
It's not enjoying nature though. Enjoying nature is like, talking to plants and stuff and listening to their feelings. But meditating is just sitting still and listening to the wind and I don't know.
I suppose you have a good point. You interacting with nature is a bit more.
Hands-on.
Yeah,
Back and forth.
yeah. You actually get a response.
We don't have a room for Tallithsyr.
It's
We
okay.
can pay her one extra
I was gonna
gold.
say we can get her a room.
Yeah, it's easy to get her a room.
Okay.
It's 1 gold.
After about an hour of paperwork filling,
Shit.
Boring.
That's a lot of paperwork.
Can I show Tallithsyr magic?
okay,
I feel like
druid
it's
try.
like making flowers and stuff.
okay.
Christ.
Everybody else in the room who is trying to fill out paperwork is incredibly distracted, but
I mean, I
And
think
doing
Vondal
like
probably
shape
had
water and
worse.
stuff, like pulling like water out
Oh
of
my
glasses
God.
and stuff.
Somehow I think Vondal's had worse distractions more than paperwork.
well, to you and Grim, it's fairly normal. To everybody else in the room, it's not.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like, this trick again.
I mean,
Like
it-
V
Like,
just
I
like
don't
makes a horse out of water and like animates it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I could show you new tricks, but I don't want to all in this building.
No, like I wouldn't. Like that. Grim wouldn't say it out loud.
Okay.
Like, he understands why.
So yeah, an hour's worth of paperwork goes by. But yes, after that is completed, the Burgermeister sort of looks up and says, well, as long as there's no further disagreement, I believe you are free to go.
There's a disagreement on what it sounds like she was told. But I think that that's something that should be taken up with.
Yes, that is something you will have to settle with the company. That is,
Yeah, and it's a personal dispute, not a legal dispute.
we pay the name that's on the piece of paper. We don't take it any further than that.
Well,
We
that's
shall
fine.
not take up any more of your time then.
Claris is gonna take that as permission and sort that out herself. I
No.
love it. Awesome.
Not alone, you're
Okay.
not.
You don't know that. She hasn't said any of this out loud.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we even
Wow.
have to ask at this point?
eye
I
on you.
mean, no, but thank you. And she'll nod her head.
The only other additional stage is that the jailer goes away and returns with a backpack, some leather armor, a longbow, a longsword, and a short sword, and hands
Oh,
them over
God.
to Tallithsyr, who takes them and puts them on. And boom,
Oh,
Look at
there you
her.
go.
I'm so proud of her.
does
No,
anything
she's
else
like
happen while we're
She has an actual
Inside?
character.
She has an actual
What?
character sheet.
Does anything happen while anything else happen while
I
we're
can't see your
inside?
actual character sheet. I think it's only you, Jayla.
No, only Jayla can see it.
Oh my god, I just read her bod. Oh my god.
Wow.
Okay, I'll read that later so I don't just like yell.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anything else happen while we're inside?
No.
Arya.
Yeah, because
What?
Do you want to take my 12 arrows that I have? Because I don't think I'm gonna ever use a short bow again.
Well, if you're sure, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I have better stuff to use now. I'm getting really
okay.
good. I'm getting really good with my bug spray, so I'll be fine.
Okay.
Jeez.
Fair enough.
Wait, do
Yes.
you actually call it bug spray?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Arya's mild.
I will point out for viewers, yeah, we realised that the numbers on Helena's cantrips were wrong. So yeah, they're a little bit buffed now.
Yeah.
Hooray!
But yeah, I have
Yay.
12 arrows, and I'm gonna. If anyone wants this short bow, take it. Otherwise, I'm gonna fucking.
Not really.
No, we already have like a spare crossbow, so
Yeah, you can find somebody in the market to sell it to. I won't even bother making you do anything about it. So
I think we're gonna have a little market section anyway. This
Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah, Vondal! I found this elf who sold like really cool gems and stuff, and I was thinking that maybe you could use them.
That would
Because
definitely be useful.
magic.
Thank you. But I also want to. I think Vondal also wants to go to Tallithsyr and just probably give her 20 gold. And just
Okay.
say, like, think of it as, well, compensation if we don't get it out of the mercenaries.
but how
she looks to Kelariis for permission.
He does this a lot, honestly.
He really does.
Just what I do.
She's looking for approval to accept it.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. Like, if she's okay with taking, like, I'm not gonna force her to take it if she's really uncomfortable with it, but
No.
like, it's fine by my
She
books.
she thanks you and takes it.
With
a
him,
little
it's
nod.
best to take the things he tries to give you. He's very insistent.
I'm just trying
yeah.
to be nice. She was robbed of. She was promised some money, didn't get any.
Okay, yeah. So you give the Sarah 20 gold.
She was promised some money. I'm giving her the money she was promised, just in case we don't get it out of the mercenaries.
Also, we still need to stock up on more rations.
How long have you been here, Tallithsyr?
Here in town.
Yeah.
About a week.
How long have you been away from home?
Oh goodness. It took me a really long time to get here. Over a month, I think.
Jeez.
Well, it would have been really hard to find Kelariis back then because we probably would have still been in the Shadowfell.
Oh my god.
Tallithsyr has no idea what that is.
Okay, damn it! I want him to be like, what the fuck?
I will make it clear now. Tallithsyr does not have a formal education.
Yeah.
She is a peasant girl. She is a peasant girl with a sword.
Ooh.
Yeah, should we buy some stuff at the
Wow.
market?
Yeah.
well, I guess we'll just let
I guess we'll let you two catch up.
Sarah and
If
and
you
what was that name again? Sisha?
What?
He's trying to think
what
of
she,
a nickname.
I already forgot what she called you.
Yeah, it's okay. Kelariis is not gonna remind you.
Yep.
Was it like Chibi? I wasn't there, so I can't remember.
Yeah, you can't talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Ah well.
if you two want to take some time to catch up, then we'll be at the market.
I mean,
I will
I think
give you a room at the inn.
I think we have some business to take care of first.
Oh no.
Get that out of the way.
Why are you
Confronting
doing
with
this without
mercenaries,
us?
aren't
She says this completely out to you guys, like,
you? Well, I don't really want to let you do that on your own.
Perhaps we can intimidate an answer out of him.
Or we could just ask them not to be jerks.
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna.
I feel like that usually doesn't work with jerks. Well, I guess it's worth
Yes,
a shot.
but we're not getting
Bitch, I
both
have
of
11 to
them.
persuasion, I do what I want!
I'd rather not get them both put back in the stockades for causing a ruckus.
fuck.
Blech. I can't fucking talk. For causing a ruckus in a public place again.
We're not causing a ruckus in a public place, probably.
You say this now!
Yeah.
We're just gonna go and have a talk with this person. Maybe a forceful talk,
Oh my
but
god, Kelariis.
it'll be fine.
The forceful talk is exactly what I'm talking about.
You've never engaged in aggressive negotiations? It's negotiations with a lightsaber.
Look, I'm going to the market, but I'm still coming with you if you're going to go to the other guild mercenary stuff.
We should probably take care of market business first, in case, or just before it all closes, I guess.
Okay. So you guys,
Do that.
you've been walking through town having this conversation, and you get back to the market.
Okay, I'm gonna buy some more rations.
I'm gonna look at that. Look at the gem shop.
Okay. Cool.
How much do I get for my short bow as well?
What is the value in the PHB?
I'll look it up.
If you can find the value in the PHB, it will be probably roughly 50% of that.
Okay.
I will actually.
With your persuasion, I will say 75%.
Nice.
I was gonna say.
Nice.
Because she'll be like, oh, but I barely used it.
I've already used it. It's actually 25 gold.
Wow, shit.
It's really fucking
Wow.
expensive for a short bow.
Damn.
Yeah. Well,
Damn,
longbow is
so-
like 50 gold though, isn't it? So something
Yeah.
like that. Something stupid like that.
Kelariis, I will say one thing as you look over Tallithsyr and her gear.
Yeah.
It's pretty shoddy.
It is
Yeah.
very shoddy.
I know, I
um,
figured.
Yeah, the
God.
the longbow gives you splinters just looking at it.
Oh, no.
The longsword looks like very, very tatty, and it's like chipped on the edges, and like it looks like the kind of swords that you used to train with, in that they are mostly blunt.
Oh, no.
The short sword she has is very well crafted, and is quite clearly very well taken care of.
Oh.
The leather armor she is wearing is ill-fitting and looks like it was quote-unquote repurposed from a previous owner, judging by the 3 arrow holes in it.
Oh my.
Oh,
Mm.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Recycle,
where did-
reuse.
We need to get you better equipment, I think.
What's wrong with my stuff?
What isn't wrong?
Gestures to yourself.
No, I
Class
wouldn't
gestures
do
to
that.
self in
No.
full plate with a magic shimmering sword.
It's my sword is not shimmering right now. Thank you very much.
It's in a
That's so
sheath.
fucking magic.
I say freedom on accident. It's like fuck.
It doesn't work if you say it on accident. You have to want it.
Yeah.
Wait,
Shut
That
up.
isn't
I
as
like
funny
the
though,
idea
Rob.
of her like talking about her personal freedoms in like a really political conversation and then just swing.
Just turns on and off like a flashlight.
Yeah, it's like flickered on and off.
Besides,
I
doesn't
think-
Kelariis always want freedom?
Yes,
Yeah,
but I don't
Clara's-
always say it out loud.
Yeah. Kelariis literally always wants freedom.
Anyway,
I think we could get you something that's better fitting and a bit sharper, let's say.
okay.
Though I think you've done very well in equipping yourself so far.
If she could blush, she would.
Oh.
Why are
Zero,
you guys
please.
trying to forge the new OTP? What is wrong with you?
No,
Isn't
it's
she, like, way
it's
younger?
yeah, she's like a
Yeah.
teenager.
Oh.
It's way more of a senpai relationship.
God damn it!
Oh my
Why
God.
did you have to put it in those words?
Everyone.
Because
Oh,
Kelariis is
Christ.
buff.
Everyone has Kelariis as their senpai.
I mean, you've read her bond.
Yeah, I did. I know it. I did. Nobody else has seen it, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
Here we go.
You should also read her flaw because it's fucking fabulous.
I haven't actually read it yet.
Share this shit with us.
Oh my god. Oh my god, the Sarah, no. I love her, she's great. I love her so much. Yeah, so I'll probably get her better equipment and then make sure we have rations between the for the two of us.
Okay. Yeah, you'll need at least another 7 days to get to the coast.
Yeah. Actually, do I still have... So I have my old longsword still listed in my inventory. I don't know if I actually still have it.
Yes, you think you do.
Okay, can I just give that to her?
Sure.
Because, like, that's not oversized for her or anything, right?
It is because she's young and still quite, like, short, but it's not enough to impede her.
Okay.
Also, she's probably just there like, this was your sword.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
That basically happens. You're like, here, have my sword, and she's just like, this is your sword. No, it's my sword. Because she holds it, and like as she's holding it, you're just like you get flashbacks of like when you taught her to hold it in the first place. And she's like she seems to prefer it in like a two-handed grip because she's quite small, or
Yeah.
smaller. She like holds it in a two-handed grip, and you're immediately just like, you still get your hands wrong.
Wow.
I just like quickly correct it.
Yeah.
I say, I think you'll grow into it very well.
Okay, so yeah, remove your longsword and you give her
Okay.
your longsword. While you're waiting as well, V could probably do something about the holes in the armor.
Yeah, I'm just moving my laptop for a bit. So.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'll cast mending.
Cool. Yeah, you do mending to repair the holes in her armor, and she seems surprised.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
But yeah, so Vondal, what are you looking for?
A diamond worth 500 gold pieces.
He happens to have a diamond that is
Jesus.
about half the size of a clenched fist,
Oh, really?
that you would estimate to be worth probably about 500 gold in value.
Oh, excellent. Now I just need an extra 100 gold.
Well, well, that's why I kind of came along, because I still have 400 gold pieces worth of flawless rubies.
Yes.
Oh,
He will
okay.
happily trade that
Wow.
for 400 gold.
Excellent. Then I'll just give him 100 more.
Okay. Cool.
Although I
Nailed
would
it.
also. How much gold do you have? Because I would also like a tiny bit. I'm like down to 10 gold.
Ah, okay. I'll give you 100 as well then.
Okay.
You can have 100 as well.
Nice. Now I can afford rations again.
Yeah. The elf, like seeing like the amount of value that you are trading between him, he smiles to himself and he says, in 40 years of doing this business, I think you are my best customers.
Oh my god.
Oh,
well,
no.
well, then I'm glad to be of
Oh my
service.
These are
You
phony.
said it was an elf, right?
Yes.
I guess then I'll say in Elvish that I'm glad to be of service.
He tips his he would tip his hat, except he's not wearing one, but he tips an imaginary hat in a very respectful fashion.
I'll just give him a nod.
Okay.
No, I'll be
Now,
down.
is there anything else I can do for you?
I don't.
Perhaps something shiny for your lady friends.
Wow.
They've got plenty of shinies. I don't think we have. No, we don't have anything else. You trade away.
No, I believe that will be all.
Then enjoy your day.
And you. That was rather pleasant.
Who's next? Anybody else want anything?
Well, I also wanted to check if there's any like magic item stalls, because it's always a good idea to check.
Yeah, you can definitely check around to see if there's anybody selling magic items. There is no dedicated magic item merchant, but there are a couple of like
Curios.
curio merchants that might have something that might be magical. Give me an investigation check.
Okay.
I'll say you find some pieces that you might find interesting. What are you interested in looking for?
Oh, I was just looking if there was anything. I was
Okay.
just wondering if they had anything for sale.
Okay. There is. You find one guy. Who is he is a halfling merchant, and he's operating like out of the back of like a very flamboyantly painted wagon. And it has two red dragons that are chasing each other's tail, like that are painted on either side of the wagon, so that like whatever side you're looking at it, like the dragons are inverted. It's very very nicely painted, and he's got a number of very artsy sort of pieces of things. Like he's got an urn that has the entire litany of the cornucopia painted on it in like pictogram form, which if you were a halfling family would be like the centerpiece in a house, but you are not. But one thing that he has that catches your attention, that he claims is magical, and your initial assessment proves to be so, is a belt that quite clearly is like designed for a halfling, but would fit you because of your your general build. And it is he claims it is a belt belonging to Henri the Giant, who basically is he sells him as this halfling hero that fights off all sorts of like various array of monsters and stuff, and most of it just sounds like fictitious nonsense. But the fact that the magic belt, or the fact that the belt has like a faint magic residue to it, definitely gives you the illusion that it does have, or it gives you the impression that it does have some sort of power, and it's not just like illusion and stories. What the power is, though, you don't really know.
Well, I guess before I go and like ask the others, what is his asking price?
That is a good question, because I actually need to look that up.
Because like if he's asking like thousands and thousands of gold, I'm not gonna bother.
I
I know what it
need
sounds like.
I mean, you only have like 100 gold on you right now.
Yes.
Complicate things.
Dungeon
I've got
Master's
200.
Guide.
I
but I was
have 300.
I don't want to like blow all our reserves on something that we aren't sure of.
You know what? It's been an hour and a half since we took a break, so let's take a brief break while I look this up.
Okay.
Okay.